Hello, my name's Laura Nicholas. I'm Programme Director for CCG Authorisation. Welcome to the training for CCG Authorisation site visits. The site visit has two main purposes: to pursue the key lines of inquiry and themes from the desktop review part of the assessment process, and looking for additional or stronger evidence which demonstrates that the CCG is compliant with the authorisation threshold. Alongside the documentary evidence, to meet with the CCG leadership team and establish where the organisation is on its development journey, assess confidence in the team, understand the local challenges ahead and identify the development and support that is needed to help the CCG to achieve its ambitions. The site visit is important because it's the first time that the NHS Commissioning Board will formally meet with the CCG. As a panel, you will lead the site visit on our behalf. Because the CCG authorisation is a legal process, it's crucial that assessment, including the site visit, is carried out consistently, fairly and robustly. We also want the process to be transparent. It's not designed to catch CCGs out, but to give them every opportunity to demonstrate that they do or can meet the thresholds for authorisation. Please think about how you can ensure that the CCG experiences this at your site visits. We want the site visit to reflect emerging thinking within the NHS Commissioning Board on how we should conduct the new relationship between CCGs and the board. A shift from a relationship based on earned autonomy to one of assumed liberty is at the heart of our thinking. This means that we want to set a particular tone and approach for the visits, which we'll need you to observe in all of your dealings with our CCGs. Our expectations are as follows. The site visit should be a positive and developmental experience for the CCG. Be generous and constructive in your conversations with them. In line with the rest of the process, visits should be conducted, as I've said, robustly, fairly and consistently wherever they take place and whoever is on the panel. This should be a two-way learning experience. The panel needs to hear about the challenges and ambitions it faces and understand what development and support will help them to move forward. You should be mindful that CCGs are new organisations that do not yet formally exist. The authorisation process is intended to assess whether they are safe to take up their statutory duties first and foremost. They must meet the criteria for authorisation by the 1st of April 2013, but you need to take into account where we can reasonably expect them to be at the point of assessment. The assessment that you will make about the local context and challenges is important, but may be more relevant when considering the support and development needed by the CCG beyond authorisation. This should not unduly influence you where the CCG clearly meets the criteria for authorisation. You're not permitted to prescribe specific actions in relation to compliance or speculate on the specific conditions that may be applied. This is the role of the moderation process. But you should coach and encourage the CCG to think about the extent to which they have identified and will address their evidence gaps and development needs. The Commissioning Board needs to be in a position to start acting on your findings from its outset in October. Moving to managing on the day, the site visit guide covers much of the information that you'll need to help run the day smoothly. The key assessor's role and the chair's role is significant. The key assessor provides the continuity from the desktop review and is an advisor to the rest of the panel on the key lines of inquiry and themes to be covered. Key lines of inquiry will relate back to one or more criteria that have not been met at the desktop review stage. The pre-visit briefings provide an opportunity for the panel to agree their approach to the key lines of inquiry and themes, how these will be divided between the panellists, and to start to formulate questions. In particular, the chair and key assessor should agree how they will work together in their respective roles throughout the day. The key assessor and chair will set the agenda, which will be shared with the CCG. During the day, a panel recorder will capture the key points of the discussion, decisions and actions, using a set of specific templates. It is important that all key decisions and feedback is captured concisely and accurately, so that assessment decisions made and feedback given in the site visit report can be tracked back to a session template. Any of the formal notes taken at the visit may be subject to FOI, and a draft of the site visit report will be produced on the day for panellists to review. Any unresolved issues should be dealt with through the chair, whose responsibility it is to sign off the completed report. Thinking about giving feedback to the CCG, this will be the most important part of the day for them. Although your deliberations may not be fully complete as you go into the feedback session, you should make every effort to crystallise the important key messages and initial outcomes of the key lines of inquiry pursued. Feedback should include overarching observations and conclusions drawn about the general health of the organisation and the challenges it faces, as well as indicating where evidence gaps have been closed and others remain. This should be a two-way conversation. The CCG needs to be given an opportunity to say whether they think the panel has got its feedback right. Comment on the development needs. Be supportive of those identified by the CCG, but be honest about where they may not be well cited enough on an area of concern. Carefully prepare the key messages that you would like the CCG to take away, such as reflecting on some of the themes of the day, including some comments on the journey to where the CCG is now, identifying any examples of good practice and what they've done well, describing the key challenges for the future. Is the CCG appropriately cited on these, as well as areas for development and an account of discussion to begin addressing these? It's important that you check the CCG's reaction to all of this and allow them to respond. And finally, talk about what the panel has learned from the day and how the Commissioning Board can support the CCG in its ongoing development. I hope your visits go well. Thank you.